Hey guys, in today's video I would like to talk a bit about the hardest and most complex job in the world with the most responsibility there is, which yet doesn't require any special qualifications or license, and this job is being a parent. It might sound a bit shocking at first, but basically, for most of the bad, unjust, and horrible things you see in the world, the pain or damage that people cause to one another, somewhere a parent is responsible. It is quite logical if you think about it, because if somebody, let's say, hurts you or can't give, receive, or show love, or is insensitive, selfish, egoistic, heartless, close minded, hateful, it is principally not their fault, but it all comes from what they saw, learned, experienced at home growing up, how they were treated by their parents, how much and in what way they were loved. The problem is that probably even the parents of the parents didn't see or learn healthy patterns when they were kids. So now the responsibility should be traced back to the grandparents. But what if they didn't get the necessary attention and love from their parents either? And with this, now we have arrived at an endless spiral of responsibility, which only God knows where it started. But we could put an end to it and start a new lineage of parenting. I think one of the greatest problems is that so many people have kids for the wrong reasons. A lot of people decide to have children due to external pressure and expectations by their families, parents, or even society, and not because they feel this is the next step for them to evolve and have their beings fulfilled by it. Plenty of people have kids because their parents have been nagging them and on and on. So when do you guys want to have kids? And now it is time to have a baby, don't you think? And so on and so forth. And eventually the couple caves in just to get a peace of mind, so the parents would finally stop bothering them with the topic, while they probably, or most of the time, definitely weren't ready mentally and spiritually for such a great responsibility. There are couples who start having kids because it is time, or at least according to social norms and expectations, it is time. They have been together already for several years, so now it is time to have children, because that's the way it's supposed to be done. And that's what people do, right? So they would do it out of obligation, not because that it is what they really want from the heart. And then there are people who don't really want to have kids, but they are scared of being judged by society, like, oh, how selfish of you, and your life is not complete without children and such. So they are kind of forcing a decision on themselves, which probably they wouldn't have made on their own. Such social expectations and pressure force a lot of people to start families, not to mention that the image of a happy person in the media, for example, and which image was also created by society, delivers this specific message to people that you can feel complete and happy only if you have a family with kids. That is fulfillment. Don't get me wrong, I think having a happy family and children is a true blessing, but there do exist people who don't necessarily need that to live a fulfilled and happy life. But luckily it is getting more and more accepted by society, but still, too many people feel forced to do so. It is kind of logical that a person who doesn't want kids will have difficulties to be a good parent. They won't put their whole heart and soul in it. They won't be able to provide the necessary energy and attention that it really takes, because they primarily think of it as work and unwanted obligation. And also, there are people who decide to have kids because of financial reasons, to get better conditions with bank loans so they could buy a house, or for extra financial support from the government, which I partly get. I mean, getting your own home is close to impossible these days unless you are a millionaire. But I wonder how many of them would have got kids if, let's say, the government gave the same discounts and support to singles as to families? Yeah, there might be a few, but not too many in my opinion. Some people have babies to save their relationship or marriage. I think this is not a real solution to the problem. This is not going to cure or save a dying relationship. If two people cannot be happy together, then taking on such a major responsibility, which is a lot of energy, money, and time, will just make the situation worse. These two people will continue to not be happy. Just there will be something, or more like somebody, who will distract them for some time. But only for some time. And well, parents living in an unhappy relationship cannot do their parental duties, mostly from an emotional aspect, so the child could receive harmonious parenting in a balanced home. Babies can sense these things actually. They are super receptive. They can feel all negativity and tension at home. Even better than grown ups, they can pick up these subtle energies. There are people who decide to have kids for egoistic reasons too, to bring a mini version of themselves to this world, but they are lacking the dedication, love, time, and energy that it takes to raise a child properly. I could list many more examples about people having kids for the wrong reasons, but I think you get the point and see what I'm trying to tell you here. The way you were raised, the things you bring with you from home, these have a major effect on your personality, your behavior, mentality, reactions, and attitude. Now, some people might get really offended, but having kids is not for everyone. We can see it every single day. How interesting is that to drive a car or even a scooter, you have to take lessons, pass tests, and only then you get the permission to drive, right? As driving a car is a big responsibility, it can change lives even, if you think about accidents, car crashes, and death. But to bring a complex human being to existence, who we have to raise properly, who we have to take care of, love, and educate, this doesn't require any type of license. Anybody can do it independently from their intelligence, their emotional intelligence, their mental state, their worldview or experience. Whereas a young human, a child, is the greatest responsibility you can imagine in the physical world. You are raising the future generation, our future, the leaders of the future, a complete human being who should be a useful member of society in some way, who can contribute to humanity. Huge responsibility. But for this, no course needed, no need to do tests and pass those tests. All you need is a fast swimming sperm and an egg. If you have these, you can have kids. Me personally, I think that a parental license wouldn't be a bad idea to at least filter out the probable disasters or something. Of course, there are many wonderful parents living on earth, and I'm sure there are people who didn't want kids initially but changed their opinion as the child was growing and became a great parent, no doubt. There are always exceptions. I just wanted to point this thing out, this common phenomenon. Be the parent you always wanted to have as a kid, who spends quality time with their family, who is always there to answer the child's questions. A parent who wouldn't buy an iPad for the kid just to shut them up and get them off your hair. Kids need constant attention and they are new to this world. They have millions of questions, and one parent should be there to answer all these with patience and wisdom. If you are a parent, your needs are secondary, not irrelevant, just secondary, as a whole universe resides in a human being, and this is what you have to take care of. Teach, love, and nurture. The fate of a whole universe is in your hands in the form of your child. It is a 24/7 job to shape, educate, and love that young human being who you will release into the world one day, who will make decisions, who can become a leader of people or nations. You lay down the foundation to all these as a parent.